Do you want the court to order his last name to be changed to Coleman-Fowler?
Is it necessary?
She's paying for all of your expenses.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever tell Mr. Fowler that somebody else could be the father of Preston?
Yes.
How old is Preston?
He's 11 months and 8 days.
Okay. And do you and Preston live together in Hardin County?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, who is Preston's father?
Nicholas Fowler.
Hey, at this time, the state will move for the admission of the genetic test results for Preston Coleman as State's Exhibit A.
Exhibit A is admitted into evidence. I'm going to find that the alleged father, in this case, Mr. Nicholas Fowler, is now found to be the biological and the legal father of the child, Preston Coleman.
Preston currently carries the last name Coleman. Do you want the court to order his last name to be changed to Coleman-Fowler?
Is it necessary?
Do you want to change his name?
No, ma'am.
And why don't you want to change his name?
This because of the social security card, his birth certificate. I had to pay for all that. I had to pay for his extra birth certificates. It costs money. He's in daycare. He's in the system with Medicaid and food stamps and TANF, and I'm going to have to change all that. And I just recently found a new job that I'm not going to have time to go take off because I lost my other job because of the child care. It's just changing all that for just one more name is going to hold a lot of things up.
Okay.
It was very complicated with it because I'm with the Texas Workforce Center now through the child care. The TANF recently just got switched over. He's in the system with Coleman only. His birth certificates with daycare, and then just so much I would have to change.
Okay. Were you and Mr. Fowler ever in a relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did the two of you ever reside together?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when did that relationship end?
April 24th, 2021.
Has Mr. Fowler provided financial assistance for Preston since he was born?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you asking the court for back child support today?
Yes, ma'am.
And who does Preston live with?
Me.
And how long has he lived with you?
His whole life.
And who makes the important decisions for Preston?
I do.
And who makes the day-to-day decisions?
The day-to-day decisions?
Yes, ma'am.
I do.
Okay. And when did Mr. Fowler last see Preston?
I believe it was June 29th, 2023.
What safety concerns do you have with Mr. Fowler visiting with your son?
Just the people he knows. I don't know who he's gonna choose to hang out with that day and what they're gonna do.
If the court were to make an order regarding visitation today, would you ask for what's called a phased-in visitation plan that includes some supervised visits?
Supervised visits? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. And would you be able to supervise those visits?
Yes, ma'am.
And how is Preston covered on health insurance?
Medicaid.
I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Call your next witness.
The state will call Mr. Fowler. Preston currently carries the last name of Coleman. Are you wanting the court to order his last name to be changed?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you want his last name to be?
Fowler.
And when did Miss Coleman tell you that you could be Preston's father?
That I could be?
Yes, sir.
Well, it's kind of been understood that I was his father.
Okay.
But it's just been seeing him.
Okay.
I just want to see my kids.
Okay. Have you provided any financial assistance for Preston since he was born?
No, ma'am.
And who does Preston live with?
Lives with Rebecca.
And who makes the major life decisions for him?
Rebecca does.
And who makes the day-to-day decisions?
Rebecca does.
And when is the last time that you saw Preston?
Park this June.
Have you ever kept Preston overnight by yourself?
No, ma'am.
And what city do you reside in?
Vider.
Are you presently working?
No, ma'am.
And when is the last time that you worked?
2022.
What do you typically do for work when you're working?
Operate heavy equipment, cut trees. Right now, I've just been volunteering at church in Vider, just doing odd things.
Are you currently looking for work?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be interested in a program that would help you find a job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I
Um,
excuse me, I need help, retaining my identification.
and how are you currently supporting yourself?
My old lady, she has a job working for healthcare.
Are you paying any type of rent?
I, I mean, we got, electricity, water, and rent, but she paid.
Okay, so she's paying for all of your expenses.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any reason that you can't work?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any other biological children under the age of 18?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how many children do you have?
I have, McKaylin. She is 14. I have Braxton. He's 4. And I have Briley. She's a year old.
Okay. Do any of these children live with you?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you pay child support for these children?
For McKaylin, yes.
For just one of them? Okay. I'll go ahead and pass the witness.
Call you next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
Why hasn't Mr. Fowler seen Preston since June?
He hasn't asked.
Okay. Did you ever tell Mr. Fowler that somebody else could be the father of Preston?
Yes. When I was
When
mad.
did-
When
when
I was
did you
mad
do
at
that?
him. When I found out I was pregnant and he
Okay.
left, I said it
Um,
out of meanness.
Okay. But even after that, you guys tried to work it out and Mr. Fowler had some contact with Preston for the first 6 months?
No, sir. We haven't seen each other since I was pregnant. Since he found out I was pregnant, he left that same night
Okay. Well,
when I took the test.
how was it that Mr. Fowler was able to visit with Preston in June?
He asked me on Messenger to let him see him, and I took him to Vider Park that morning. The next day, he had a dentist appointment, and I was going out towards Beaumont anyways, so we stopped in Vider to let him see him, and we met at McDonald's.
So you have seen Mr. Fowler since y'all separated?
Yes, that day.
Okay.
Sorry, I wasn't.
These are very specific questions, Ms. Coleman.
I'm
I
sorry.
you can give me specific answers, okay?
Yes, sir.
I didn't ask you if you were still dating Mr. Fowler. I know that's not happening. I'm trying to establish why Mr. Fowler hasn't had any contact with Preston. So he hasn't had any contact with Preston since June, correct?
Yes.
Was he having regular contact with Preston before June?
No.
Since Preston was born, in your best estimate, how many times has Mr. Fowler seen Preston?
Once.
That's it, just the June visit, that was all.
Yes, sir.
Do you agree with that, Mr. Fowler? That's the only time you've ever seen Preston was the one visit in June? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that kind of squares that up.
I look forward to seeing more of him, though. Now that I
Well,
know that he's.
I look for Mr. Fowler, I look forward to giving you the opportunity to spend more
Thank you.
time with him.
Thank you,
All right.
sir.
So you haven't had a job, Mr. Fowler, since 2021?
22.
Why?
Well, I've had jobs, man, but I'm not labeling them because they was paid cash, like cutting trees and landscaping.
You said that
So-
you work, you said that you use heavy equipment.
Yes, sir.
Are you trained in the use of heavy equipment?
Yes, sir.
Do you carry any special licenses that allow you to use and operate special heavy equipment?
Well, yes, sir. I'm trying to get I'm having difficulties retaining my identification from DPS because my birth certificate's lost and my social security. So I'm on medication through Spindletop,
Right,
and they're supposed to be helping me, but they just want to pay for it.
right.
And
Okay.
I'm like, I don't need help paying for it. I need help with the documents of retaining it.
Right. What county do you live in, Miss Coleman?
Hardin County.
All right. Is there some place that you're willing to meet Mr. Fowler? Or is it okay if he just comes to your house for the supervised visits?
I would meet him halfway.
Okay. In the order, I'm gonna put that it's at your house, but if you and Mr. Fowler can agree to meet someplace, that's fine too, okay? That's always an option that you and Mr. Fowler will have, all right?
Okay.
All right. Ms. Coleman, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
I mean, I preferably don't want him to come to my house, but if it has.
Again, Ms. Coleman, I mean, if you guys can agree to meet halfway, and obviously that would be easier for
Okay.
Mr. Fowler, then you can do that, okay?
Okay,
You
yes,
have to designate some place for it to take place in case you guys don't agree, all right?
yes, sir.
Mr. Fowler, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Well, I just wish the boy could have my last name.
Right. Well, the court's going to find the court has jurisdiction. The court's going to find based on the testimony of the parties. I mean, it is certainly in Preston's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators with Ms. Coleman as the parent with the right to establish the primary residence of the child. I'm going to give Mr. Fowler visitation, but it is going to be a phased-in visitation schedule, Ms. Simone, with 12 visits at each phase. That means there will be 12 supervised visits for a half a day. When those 12 are completed, then there will be 12 unsupervised visits for a half a day. When those 12 are done, then there will be 12 visits unsupervised for the day. When those 12 visits are done, then there will be 12 one-night overnight visits. And the last 4 visits or last phase of the visits, the 12 one-night overnights is completed, then Mr. Fowler can have standard possession. Those visitations will always be on the first, third, and fifth Saturday of each month until they are completed. I'm not changing the child's last name. The child's last name is going to remain Coleman.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to set child support in this case based on a minimum wage presumption. With giving Mr. Fowler credit for one other dependent. Ms. Coleman will be ordered to maintain the health insurance that she currently has on the child. Child support's $195 a month plus $25 a month in cash medical. Retroactive child support in the amount of $2,340. That'll be paid back at a rate of $15 a month each and every month till that's paid in full. All payments beginning December the 1st of 2023. Court cost in this case, Ms. Simone, will be due May 31st of 2024. Ms. Simone, did the state of Texas hear all the terms and conditions of my court order?
Yes, sir. Are we able to do the choices program for Mr. Fowler?
I didn't understand whether or not Mr. Fowler wanted to be admitted.
Oh,
Mr. Fowler,
okay.
do you want me to put you in the choices program?
What is that, sir?
The choices program is a program run by the Texas Workforce Commission that helps people that want to find a job get a job. They might be
Definitely.
able to help you with your ID problem.
Yeah, enroll me.
Then you're in it.
Thank
Choices is granted.
Thank you.
Here shortly, we'll be right with you, Mr. Fowler, in regards to that, but I want everybody to know what's going to happen next. All right, Ms. Coleman, Mr. Fowler, what's going to happen is Ms. Simone's going to send me a court order. If it matches what I ordered here today, I'm going to sign it, get it back to them. Then they're going to make a copy of it and send it to each of you, okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right.
He's always known he's the father.
I cheated on you. He's not yours. You've told me that at least 5 to 6 times.
Has Miss Mendez ever told you there was a possibility you were not the father of Tyler?
Yes, when he was about 5.